Okay, so for guys who didn't know, I'm talking with Everness Films, and she's from Canada, right?
I am. I'm from Vancouver, which is West Coast area.
Yeah, so I've been following you for a while now. I don't want this Ariana, I don't want this to be more like professional. I just want to like talk with you. I don't want it to be, you know,
Okay.
nervous at all, but like I'm also nervous, but yeah, so I've been following your work for a while now on Instagram, and I could tell you that like your work's amazing. And also I you know who's following you, the people that I also follow, that is one of my inspiration, who is Hello Tomorrow Films and like the Quill and Devanant. I was like, oh my god, these guys are following these huge filmmakers here in the United States. They're following Ariana from Everness Film. Like, that's pretty awesome. And I'm sure like I feel like, vendors or videographers, photographer, they follow other vendors just because they see inspiration from your work. And I'd love to talk more about where you started and like how long you've been doing videography for.
Yeah, that's cool that you mentioned Hello Tomorrow because they're also based in Canada, in Vancouver. So, yeah, so we've spoken a few times and yeah, they're really great people and like big inspirations for me as well. So it's just cool how small the world is and how you can connect with people you looked up to, and specifically in wedding community, I feel like it's really easy to um, like make connections with people you admire. Like like if I were an actor, like it would be so much harder to interact with my favorite actors, but the wedding community is pretty tight knit, so it's cool. Yeah, I'll talk about how I started. Um, so I have been interested in film making my entire life. Um, I started like on a VHS camera when I was really, really small, and I would like boss my friends around and make these little like at-home videos. And then as I was growing up, that turned into little music videos and school projects and just like anything I could do video related, I would do. So yeah, and then I lost it for a while and just had like a few years of just really trying to figure out like what I wanted to do in life. And I had studied marketing, and there was just like I didn't feel connected to anything, and it was a really dark period of just like who am I? Just I guess like finding my identity. And then as cliche as it sounds, I did like a solo trip to Europe, and and then at the end of the trip, I was talking to some girls, and I had showed them my old videos, and they were like, you should like you can do this like as a career. Like you don't have to do something you don't like. Like why don't you just like what's the harm in trying to do something that you would want to do? And I was like, you know what? Like yeah, video has been like what I had have loved my entire life. Why don't I just try doing it as a career? Like what's the worst that can happen? Like I'm still young. There's still time to like I still have things to fall back on. So when I came home, I just like dove full time into weddings, because I felt like it was I had tried doing like I tried being like a production assistant on a film set, and that just like wasn't creatively fulfilling. So I was like, yeah, yeah. So I did that for just like once or twice, but it was like 16-hour shifts of me just sitting by like some lights just to watch them, and like that's all I was doing. So I was like, it's gonna take like a decade to move up the ladder to a point where I feel creatively fulfilled, or I can start my business, or I can and just like try to do things that I feel creatively fulfilled by. And then I just invested like all up front into like the best gear that I knew of, and like all of my time into researching like how I can progress really quickly and like create quality things. And then yeah, with time I kind of like developed a unique style, and yeah, that's where I am. I feel like pretty creatively fulfilled where I'm at right now. So that's really important to me, and that's
That's great. 2 days of the job doing the production thing, and you hated it.
Yeah.
And then you pretty much, so you mentioned that you went to college for marketing, and then you went to a spontaneous trip on Europe. Is that right?
I didn't, I studied marketing online, but I had been doing like, it was like, I kind of was at a crossroads where I was able to get, like, I had job offers for entry level marketing positions. And then I also had job offers because I was doing photography before I did video. So it was like, I had like a job offer, and one was like real estate photography and one was marketing. And I was like, photography is more in alignment, like it's real estate, but at least it's like a little bit more creative. So then I went in that direction, and then I did the Europe trip, and then
So I thought you said you meant like wedding photography. So it was like a company based photography, that hired you, and then
yeah, I was also doing, I had done a few weddings in like as a photographer. I had done like second shooting, so, but it wasn't something like I felt super connected to, and like I really wanted to love it. I had like tried doing those shoots with like models I found who were like trying to build their portfolio, and like I was really trying to get into it, but I was just like, this is such a waste of time. Like I'd rather like create a story out of it, and I just like couldn't understand why it wasn't clicking, like why I wasn't fulfilled from photography. But then when I switched to video, it just like made sense.
right. So okay, so you did photography as well for real estate, is that right? And then you pretty much like found yourself like doing video. And how long have you been doing videos for now?
I guess, well, I started my business in August last year.
Wait, are you really?
So August 2019.
Last year of August?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I went full time in March, right before the pandemic.
Wait, so you're saying you started last year and then you went full time on that year for video?
Yeah. I just like, I knew it was what I wanted to do. So I just like, I'm like, it's kind of like sink or swim. It's like by throwing myself full time in it, I was like, I have to make it work. And it worked, like, because I just like put my whole like soul into
your heart to it.
Everything I was doing. Yeah.
That's crazy because
So-
from like, first time following you, I would, if I was a couple or just anyone, I would just say, like, you've been doing this for a while now. I keep saying this to everyone that was in the podcast. You've been doing this a while because I reach out to vendors like you guys because like your talent is there, and like you show great work, and I'm really surprised that you started last year and then doing that full time of last year, for wedding videography.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess just like if you're passionate about it, like you find ways. And that's like a big thing I've learned is like before with all the jobs that I was doing, like I wasn't passionate about them. And I'm like, and I just like, it was really hard to find success in them. But like once you find something you're passionate in, like it just like success kind of follows because you have that motivation to just like work hard and put your best self forward.
And you feel like I'm so happy for you, and I'm sure like it's like really relieving that you're able to work on a business that you love doing, and I'm sure it doesn't feel like you're working for somebody else. You're kind of putting your soul into it, and I feel like that's really great that you were able to find that for your business and being able to start something for yourself. That's I'm so excited for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's like
It's fun.
your work. Like if I had to, I've been following you for a while now. I would have been in Instagram as well, and then I've been like watching your what do you call timeline of work, and your work is amazing. If I had to explain it, if from a videographer standpoint, it's like it's so unique and like what would you call it? It's so there's a word for it. It's like if I had to explain it. Dramatic, not in a bad way, but like it's so like unique and moody, and also like it's just it's just so different from other work that you normally see for wedding videographers, where like for me, I find inspiration from videographers that I love, and then I kind of get inspired from their work and then make it into my work. For you, like what made you like get those inspiration? Like where did you this style came from?
Yeah, that's a good question. Like for me, like I'm always thinking of ways I can be different. And like, especially because I know that there are a lot of wedding videographers who are like, really talented. And I have seen so many wedding films that look really similar. And I was like, how am I going to be able to compete with these people who have been doing it much longer than me? And how am I going to stand out to those couples? And just like, yeah, there's so many other talented people. So I kind of didn't want to be like a regular wedding videographer. And I kind of like stopped, like I consumed a lot of wedding videography content when I first started, like a lot of other videographers' contents. And I kind of stopped doing that and focused more on gathering inspiration from movies and things with like I don't know, like high budget like stories and like how they're portraying things. And like I don't know, I love like like 90s rom-com movies, and I don't know, I just love like getting inspiration from like things outside of weddings and then bringing that in.
So you're not even like looking at work from other videographers. You used to before, but now it just came from like movies that you watch and incorporating that to your work.
Yeah, and I find that's really helpful because it's really easy to compare yourself to other wedding videographers. And when I watch a lot of people's work at like certain periods of my life, I can like feel my style emulating what they're doing. So if I'm going into an editing period where I know I need to edit something and I know I want to be creative, like I won't consume any content that's related to weddings because I just want to be able to like be myself, and I know that I get influenced really easily.
Right. I mean, that's the same thing as me. Right now currently I still watch everyone's work, from other videographers. I feel like honestly I feel like you're way better if you're not, watching others work. I mean, it's not a bad thing, but I'm saying like your work recently, and also like majority of your work is so unique and it's something new that I haven't seen from other videographers incorporating to their work. And I feel like that's so like, where are you getting this like type of style? Like especially like you had one work that you were like had some prisms all over it. It was like multiple, I think, I don't know, I asked you about it. It was like a bunch of like what do you call that? You kind of use like different kind of like prism where there's like multiple faces in the video. I don't know if you remember, or maybe if I'm remembering it wrong, but like it's so unique. And I tell myself like where wow, this is amazing, it's something new, and I feel like it's working out great for your brand as well, like
yeah.
I was watching your website, and I was looking through your website stalking you. I love how you incorporated where it's like we're not the Uncle Bobs in the I was like, oh my god, you guys are cool. And then I kept looking through it, and like there was like you mentioned about being a visionary. You're not just wedding filmmakers, but you're a visionary, and I could definitely see that. Like it just, your work says it all, and I feel like how you portrayed that into your website is definitely true.
Thank you for looking through my website. I feel really proud of it, and I don't know how else, like I can't show it off on Instagram or anything, and I don't know how many people actually see my website, but I put a lot of work into it, so thank you for saying that.
No, definitely, your website is great, and like I'm glad, like I'm so surprised that you did this. You started out last year, and then you're doing so great with hold on. Did I cut off a little bit? I'm sorry.
Just a second.
Okay, sorry about that. Yes, Now you cut me off. I forgot where I was gonna say what I was gonna say.
We were talking about
Oh
websites.
yeah. Like your
I
website,
don't
so
know.
like your brand, like how everything like you've created from last year is such like it's just coming through where it's like your branding is so on point where it's like, oh my god, if I was a wedding, like someone to get married and I like that style, I would definitely hire, you, and like such props to you being able to brand yourself. Like, how did you learn how to brand yourself so like effectively, or like, where is it just from looking at other like.
Yeah, I think it was a lot of looking from other people, gathering inspiration from other people. But then I also did have that like background in marketing. So yeah, like that has been really helpful. I always say that like creatives in general, like any sort of creative should learn marketing because that's basically what we have to do. Like there are so many creatives in the world and so many talented people, and you really just you really just need to know how to market yourself. So I recommend everyone taking a marketing course. There's so many free ones
Uh-huh.
online.
Definitely. So you
Yeah.
saying like, being in a marketing field that was able to help your business a lot, especially starting out your business.
Yeah, I mean, like I mean, it's not like the one thing that helped the most, but like having general ideas and knowledge about like website or like a search engine optimization, and then I had done like email marketing when I first started out and like lead generation, and then I have a good understanding of how to use Facebook ads and all of these different things that maybe if you didn't have that background in marketing might be a little more of a learning curve when you're starting out. So I do feel like that was really helpful for me, but it's not hard. Like most people, it doesn't take long to learn how to do most things, and there's so much free content online. So
Right.
it's
And should I call you Ariana or is it Everness Films? I'm trying.
You can call me Ariana.
no, you can call me
Okay,
Ariana.
Ariana. Okay. I was so Everness is is that your real name?
No,
No, my name is
Okay,
Ariana.
so Everness. Where did you get the Everness like the name? Where did that came from? I'm sorry, I'm like jumbled up. I'm like kind of like distracted.
No, it's a good question. Everyone always thinks my name is Everness, like, because I don't have my name in my
Right.
Instagram. So when I meet vendors in real life, they're like, "Hey, Everness," and I'm like, "That's not my name." But yeah, I got the name. I had been calling with my dad for like 4 hours trying to figure out a name, and I'm like, I'm gonna figure out a name today because I have to buy my domain and I have to set up my website. And I wanted something that felt like romantic and felt like pretty. I really liked Ever. Like I wanted to include Ever in it because it's like kind of like infinity, like forever. And then we were like, my dad thought of the mountain Everest. And I was like, Everest films, it kind of sounds too masculine. Like, I want something that feels like feminine and delicate and pretty. And then I don't know where Ness came from, but Everness, it's kind of like, I don't know, it just sounds like it flows off the tongue really nice. There's not like a huge story behind it, but I also wanted it to be able to, like, if you were writing it in lowercase, I didn't want there to be like any G's or like J's. I wanted it to fit on one line and just kind of be very uniform looking. I don't know. It just like it felt right, and
I
it
guess
still
yeah,
feels
like
right.
what you mentioned,
So,
you don't want to put like the G at the end. It just like if I guess it looks good. I guess just having that NESS, it doesn't have that thing under, but
yeah.
yeah. Since you started last year, you said you were gonna do this full time. Did COVID hit any weddings of yours there in Canada? Were you still able to do any few weddings, or did you miss a lot of weddings because your couples postponed this year?
Yeah, so I did have a lot of couples who postponed this year, but I also I ended up with more weddings than I had originally booked for this year.
And how much was that?
Because
How many?
I did 15
What's that?
this year. Yeah.
Oh, 15 this
15.
year. Okay.
Yeah. So that's sort of my goal going forward as well, is to do between like 10 and 15. I just really like want to be like a boutique film place, like wedding videography studio. Like I just really want to take my time with things and not feel rushed. And that was a really good number this year. So I'm trying to stay around that. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, COVID. So I found that with COVID, people were reallocating parts of their budget. Like they weren't able to have huge guest lists and they wanted people to be able to see what happened on their day. So people made room for video, which was cool. So I actually like ended up getting more bookings because I was still really new, right? So it's like I wasn't expecting to have a huge number of bookings for this year, but I ended up with a good amount. Yeah.
So you're saying your goal last
that's
year
it.
was 15, but you ended up having more 15 weddings from last year?
No, I don't know if I had a goal for last year. I was just like, if I can do this, like if I can make enough money to survive, like that's my goal. But I ended up with 15 weddings in 2020. So, and that's like what I want to do in the future as well, and just sort of like raise my prices so I can stay afloat.
Right.
with
So
around
it's so
15.
different because for you, you're saying you want to do lesser weddings, and your price point, just making it more like more favorable for your time. And for me here, I'm in New York. I was gonna initially do 40 weddings last year, and in a 40 weddings, and me hearing like the 15 weddings, oh my god, like that's, I feel like that's you will have enough time to edit those videos for 40 weddings. I feel like I was gonna do this full time. I'm not really this is something new to me, and I could imagine having 15 must be so nice. That must be nice to have that time. But so are you just gonna be planning on doing less weddings? What's the goal? Like, what is that your goal? Pretty much doing less weddings in the future, and then raise your prices over then.
Yeah, my goal, like I love weddings so much, but I also do commercial stuff as well, so that like I need to make room to be able to do that as well. So I mean, I love weddings, but they're also like super stressful. And honestly, like I feel like 15 is like all I can mentally handle, because I just put so much time into like editing and like connecting with my couples and like doing all these things. I'm sure everyone does, but it's like I don't know. I really prioritize having like work-life balance as well, and I don't want to feel burnt out, because I know as a creative, like it's very, especially when you're doing your creative like dream job, it's easy to just work yourself dry and then like not want to do it anymore, and I'm really trying to avoid that.
That's smart of you for thinking that way, just because like I'm thinking ahead of time, like I want to have this job where it's like full-time doing editing videos, and seeing that way, I feel like that's a great way to look at it, because I feel like there's a lot of, oh wait, did I just turn on? Don't worry, it's recording. Sorry guys. And now I'm off where I am, but like, oh yeah, like what I mentioned, like I feel like for me, I just went to in my mindset where like I'm gonna do 40 weddings next year. I feel like eventually I may feel that burnt out, and I feel like that's a great way for you to think it that way, where it's like I'm gonna limit myself to 15 weddings and then take care of myself along the process. So
Yeah, I mean,
well,
yeah.
hold on. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties. I think your audio just turned like volume down. Yeah, the volume was
Off?
down. Yeah, I cannot hear you.
Is it normal now? No? Okay.
Don't worry, guys. We're just,
Let's
you know,
see
we're
if I
just
can
going with the
fix-
flow
Temporary
podcast. It's just we go with the
intermission.
flow. Whatever happens. Yeah, if you take it off, can you still hear me or no?
My head. Can you
No,
hear
it's
me?
kind of so, like, your volume is so, like, low. Is it, hold on. You know what? I could save the,
I don't know how to.
you could put it back, Ariana, and I listen to it. I may have to use my headphones. Yeah, connected. Yeah, try to say something, Ariana. I may be able to hear you.
Hold on, I'm trying to. We'll just cut this part out.
Don't worry, we're going with the flow.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you okay. I can hear you. Just put it on and then we're gonna be fine. We're going with the flow, guys.
Can you hear? I feel bad. I don't know how to.
No,
These are my boyfriend's headphones. I don't know how to
it's
work
completely
them.
fine. We're going with the flow. This is what it is about, you know. I can hear you now, okay. Yeah. So as long as you can hear me.
Okay, I just won't touch these then.
You're okay.
I can hear you.
Yeah,
It's all good.
Yeah, so pretty much this year you're gonna be doing 15 weddings. Is that the plan, or did you have more booking this year for 2021?
Yeah, I'm hoping for. I don't have 15 yet. I'm being more selective this year. I really want to work with couples who are like my type of couples and just like who prioritize like the art of filmmaking instead of people who just want like a wedding video. So I've been sort of trying to like incorporate more of that into my branding just to attract those sorts of couples. And I'm just kind of like holding off until I get those. So I'm really just like prioritizing like the creativity as opposed to the like bulk. And I'm just being kind of picky.
No,
maybe
wait,
I shouldn't.
Ariana,
I don't know.
That's good. That's good that you mentioned that. How do you distinguish whose couple are willing, you know, to have you be creative, or are your couples, you know, do they have a say on their wedding video, or is it completely yourself editing it creatively? Like, how does that work?
Yeah. So do you want to talk about like editing, or do you want to talk about how I choose?
Yeah,
which
I mean,
couples I take
how
on?
do you distinguish for, you know, how do you distinguish couples that are, you know, willing to, you know, like if they just wanted a wedding video, or they love your work, like.
Yeah, so I have like when I'm looking through an inquiry, I have some questions in the inquiry form. One of the questions is, what do you like about our work? And then one of the questions is, tell me your story. And I can sort of tell based on those two responses if they're going to be a good fit for me. So if they like, sometimes I get like, what do you like about our work? And their response is like, it's pretty. And I'm like, okay. But then I get some inquiries sometimes that are like, I love the way you use the music to guide the stories. And I love the way you utilize like I don't know, like the vintage elements, and like, it just shows that they've like watched my stuff and they're not just like looking for a video, they're looking for like an art piece, which I'm all for. And then for tell me your story, you can kind of tell, because you'll get some that are like we met in 2012 and now we're getting married, but then you get sometimes that they write out like their whole story, and you get like paragraphs of text, and I'm like, those are my couples, because it's a story to me. Like a wedding film is a story, and if they're willing to share that much of themselves within the inquiry form, then it usually translates well for the wedding day as well. And they're willing to share pieces of themselves and be vulnerable and be emotional, and and those are the sorts of couples I like to work
and
with.
How do you, like, when you're editing the video, like, do your couples that hire you, do they have a say on their video, or how does that work for your process?
Yeah, so I try. The couples always can have a say. They usually don't want to. Usually, I feel like I have a pretty good radar of not discovering, but like knowing what
Right.
people's interests are based on like the decor of their wedding and based how they're interacting with each other and with their guests and the music they play. And I really just try to put myself in their shoes, and I'm like, if I liked all of these things and like I had learned about their story and like their history, and I put all these pieces together, and I try to make like a mental image of who these people are and what they're going to enjoy and what's going to be valuable for them. So I don't know. I just really try to put myself in their shoes, and then kind of stem my creativity from that. And then obviously like throw my own stuff in there because I'm the one editing it. But usually like I have never had someone who didn't like the film straight away. So, and like who requested re-edits. So, but I mean, like, we'll see. Like, I'm open to couples like voicing
Right.
their input, but
Yeah.
it usually works out.
Like for my end, it's
Regardless.
like, I started out like having the couple, like starting out for, wedding videography. I started out where the couple wanted this specific music, and then, and I pretty much kind of like just adapted to it. And then my brand now is like uniquely made for you. Your story is beautiful. I just tried to make it unique, and I'm sure like, you may encounter some couples that may, want a different music or a different style, but like it seems like no one's doing that to you, just because I feel like you really are consistent of like what you're trying to portray for the videos that you want to attract a couple. So I feel like you did a great job, like, branding yourself to this, like you mentioned, like a vintage feel. Like that's the word I was looking for, the vintage, like that feel of your video. And I feel like, that's probably why it's working out, just because, you consistently show like your message and like the type of work the type of couple you want to attract with.
Dang, yeah, that's. I feel so bad. I know this is like
No.
a podcast, but I feel like so bad for only talking about me. I'm like, we should talk about you too.
The point of the podcast is
But-
kind of like inspiring other creatives that are just starting out, and I feel like, it's pretty much like I'm talking to like creatives like you, how you guys started, and I don't mind. I mean my story is, I guess, pretty much the same thing as yours. Like I just started out like maybe. I've only done like less than 15 weddings, and I started I was gonna do full time last year, and then that would be my second year. But like the following year before that, I was just doing weddings for friends and stuff. So eventually it led to where I was gonna do this full time. It's funny because like you just started out last year. Hold on, give me 1 second. Wait, honey, I'm gonna call you in a little bit, okay? I'm doing. All right, bye. I love you. No. Did I lose you? No. I think I lost you. So, yeah, guys, this is like we're just going with the flow, I guess. I'm calling her now from Yeah, so I got the Maggie just called me, and now I'm calling her through Instagram and see if that works. Let me see. I'm still recording, guys. Bear with me. Okay. Oh, now she is here. Okay. So she's getting her iPad, guys. So yeah, we're just waiting for her. So yeah, we've been just talking about how she got started, and she mentioned like why she feels bad that I'm like talking with her about her, but like that's the point of the podcast, you know. So I'm telling their story, so we'll see. Hey, are you still recording in your computer, by the way? I mean, yeah, I meant on what do you call
like
that?
on
On
Zoom?
your camera or mic. Are you still? Is it still on? Wait, can you hear me? Okay.
Sorry, you're cutting out. Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I think you're cutting a little bit. But
Yeah, you're cutting out as well. I don't know if it's my Wi-Fi.
yeah, I have
or-
my signal. I have my. We'll try with this. I've been just talking to the camera and then just going along with it. Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I mentioned to the camera, like, you mentioned that you feel bad because like I'm asking you questions and stuff, like, you know, I genuinely want to hear your story, and like, you know, I want to share that to the people who's listening to this podcast about how you started. I don't think I have something incredible that I did, but I'm pretty sure like what you built in your company is pretty impressive, and like the style that you have for work is amazing. Can you still hear me okay?
Yeah, okay, one sec.
That's okay. This is
Are you recording the video from the screen as a backup?
I'm not. Why?
Or no, just curious. Cause I realized my camera cut out for like 10 minutes.
That's completely fine.
Yeah.
Are you recording okay now? I could just put it in
Okay.
to the computer.
Yeah.
That's completely fine.
I'm
That's
recording right now.
okay. Just send me whatever you have, and then we'll go along with it. Yeah. Wait, Ariana. So you're in Vancouver,
Okay,
Canada.
sounds good.
I'm kind of curious because I've been only doing weddings here in New York. What is it like being doing weddings in Canada? Like Canada, what are weddings like in Canada? Like, what's the timeline there?
I feel like they're pretty similar to American weddings, but it like depends on the nationality. Like for like Western weddings, I mean, yeah, it depends if they're religious or not. But usually like ceremony, like it'll be like getting ready. We do like letters, we do whatever, do first look. Ceremony is usually pretty short unless they're religious. Then we do portraits, and then we do like cocktail hour or reception. Then at reception, it's usually like grand entrance. They eat. Sometimes, usually they'll do like speeches while people are eating. Like cake cutting, bouquet toss, garter toss, and then whatever else.
Right.
happens,
And
like dancing.
the reason
and
I
stuff.
ask you, I'm just curious about like wedding videographers who are in Canada. I know you mentioned like Hello Tomorrow Films is from in Canada. I'm not sure if can you hear me okay? Yeah, I'm not sure about like other videographers. I haven't seen anyone that is from Canada and who creates films there, but like if you compare like the film here, is there like a difference of like wedding films that people in Canada do, and then how they do it here in the US, or is it pretty much like, how would you describe that?
I don't think there's a difference. Like, I mean, Canada's like pretty much the same thing as the States culture-wise. Like, if there are any differences, like in Vancouver, we have like mountains and stuff, so there's like helicopter elopements.
I did see that. I saw
here.
that helicopter
But
in your
I'm, like-
work, one of your work. So that's pretty much common go in a helicopter.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like everyone does it, but it's like a very, it's, I don't know. People do that often because we're so close to the mountains. But like you could probably do that in mountainous places in the States as well.
Like when you mentioned that, just
something.
I feel like it's unusual seeing a videographer here in the U.S. Like, oh, a helicopter. It's usually like a high end, like the biggest wedding, and I guess you like what you mentioned. It might be common there in Canada to have a helicopter in your wedding.
Yeah, I think we're in Vancouver. It's definitely common, but if I were like in Ontario on the East Coast, like we don't have mountains there, so like it would be super super bougie if someone had a helicopter because like where would you even be flying to?
Okay, I asked my some questions like this, like what have you been doing in quarantine, Ariana? What have you been like, making your time, like what have you been doing to kill your time during this quarantine, or especially what you have done in your business during this quarantine?
Yeah. Well, since it's my first year of business, I've been doing all like the first year business stuff. Like I've been figuring out my taxes and like building my website, and I've just kind of been like taking on like as much as I can within the first year to like build up my portfolio. And then like outside of weddings, the beginning of quarantine, I started a garden. That was my quarantine
it's cold there
project.
more than here. I feel like the seasons there is more like cold. Is it colder more of the time throughout the year, or is it like you guys have 5?
We have the same in Vancouver.
Oh, okay.
It's the warmest place in Canada. We have the same temperature as Seattle.
So you've been doing gardening. My girlfriend Maggie, we were also doing the gardening during the summer, but it was our first time doing it in that year, and it was pretty much fun. Like what did you guys grow up? Did you have fun? Did you enjoy like?
Yeah, at my old house, we had 3 huge garden beds, so I was like, let's grow everything. I don't know, I grew peas, I had like a herb garden, I grew tomatoes, I grew lettuce, I grew
so you got
kale,
all of it pretty much. It seems like you have everything.
Yeah, like radishes, carrots. I grew carrots.
So you've pretty much been gardening.
It
Anything
was
else
fun.
that you've been doing? I mean, we've been just watching a lot of Netflix and like kind of just like watching shows. I was in nursing school as well, but I have that year to kind of like also like work with my business, like doing taxes, getting that EIN number. I don't know what you guys call it in Canada, like the tax number. Yeah, I'm still like doing stuff for my business, so but like I'm still starting out as well, so yeah, trying to kill time. Trying to we've been,
sorry, go ahead.
Pretty much the summary is we've been trying to kill time, like just working on my business with a website, doing gardening, and we've been watching a lot of Netflix. Do you watch Netflix at all?
Yeah, we watch a lot of Netflix, but oh man, the whole like winter, all I've been watching are like early 2000s rom-coms. Like literally like it's my guilty pleasure. Like especially like those like high school ones. I'm like I shouldn't be watching it, but my boyfriend low-key enjoys them too, but he'd like kill me if I said that, but oh well, it's out there. We enjoy watching those, and then we've been using Disney Plus a lot recently, and we've been watching like old shows from our childhood. Like we were watching like Lizzie McGuire, and we were like, whoa, the camera quality is so bad. Like,
are you guys
this
the 90
is what we
kids?
used to watch.
Yeah, I was born 96, so I guess I'm considered 90 kids. But like, that's good. That's you guys. Did you know the show Drake and Josh? Did you guys watch that as well?
Yeah. Not yet.
Oh my
but that
god,
should be on our
so
list.
much
That's
to
a
like
good one.
watch. during this quarantine, especially like new Netflix shows. And you mentioned you watched Disney Plus as well. Like we've watched Soul. I'm not sure if you've heard. What did you think of the movie?
Oh my god! No! Oh my god! I had watched it in over a few days because I just like wasn't emotionally prepared. But it was like, holy moly, it was the most beautiful. I just was blown away by the way they told that story and the way they illustrated these like really crazy concepts of like life and death, and the illustrations and the animations and how beautifully put together it was. But then the ending and then how they didn't get reunited on Earth.
You actually rewatched
like,
the movie? Is that what you said, or you kind of just waited for a while to watch it?
I just watched it. I like broke it up over 3 days.
I feel like we watched it like in one sitting, and at the end we kind of didn't get it. So it seems like you got the message out of it, but I'm sure like I'm not sure if I'm the only one. We're the only one. We didn't really get the message. We didn't kind of it didn't like kind of shock us how it shocked you.
Yeah, I don't know. I just really I love like that style of like I love the existential concepts they were using. I'm really into like
right
those kind of like spiritual things. So if I had that movie to watch as a kid, like I think I'd be a completely different person. I think it's such a cool movie, and like it's such a cool way, especially for kids, to explain these like really heavy concepts of like, especially how he was like going up those stairs into like the light, and like he was going into like how all the souls at the top, and
I guess it was deep, and like I feel like what you mentioned, like if I was a kid watching it, oh my god, like I would have like a better understanding of life, I guess. I feel like that's a great thing that they were able to incorporate that some type of like story like that for a Disney show. Like that's amazing.
Yeah, I feel like kids today are so much more lucky, like with like not fully like representation wise, but I feel like we're getting better with like it's not just like white skinny people everywhere. Like, and in general, and we're like talking about like broader subjects, and hopefully, but like I know there's still a lot of white skinny people in Hollywood, but
yeah.
It's true. It's like all I watched those early 2000s rom-coms.
Really?
And they're all just like white skinny people.
But
like there's no diversity.
If we go to the store, my girlfriend and I go to a store, like a clothing store that she goes, like you see like they're trying to like adapt and like put that diversity out there. There's like an XL like sizes for clothes when you go to a store here. Like that's local to us, and I'm pretty sure I guess it will take time maybe, but like I feel like they're trying to have the diversity, especially in movies as well. You see like more new African American, like in that movie too, The Soul, like it was an African American main character.
Yeah, and that's how it should be. And like I know Disney released like Moana and like I think it was Princess and the Frog. And yeah, it just shows it's just so important to give little kids representation, because Disney princesses used to just be all like white, skinny, like blonde, brunette. Yeah, so it's really I'm into the new new
That's
wave.
That's great. I guess we do
kids.
need that, like especially with social media. I feel like we really have to be a great example or an influence. And I'm not sure if you see the trend of like Instagram reels on Instagram for like photographers, and I'm sure like videographers may have incorporated it. Like, do you see yourself doing like Instagram reels for your business, or TikTok even? Have you even tried that out?
I use TikTok in my personal life. I also have a few TikToks on a business account. I think it is
How so?
interesting. I think it is. It's just a completely different way of doing things. Like, it's like Instagram in a way that you have to capture people's attention within the first second. But you also have to tell a story so quickly, and like it has to be super
So
captivating.
you're saying you use TikTok. I'm not gonna lie, I use TikTok for my personal use as well. Like I scroll through there. But do you make videos on TikTok as well?
Personally, I do, but they're not, and I'm not ever planning on sharing them. I keep them very
Okay.
separate from my work TikTok, but
Okay.
I'm not like doing dances. I just like post like silly ones
That's so
to
funny.
remember life.
I'm just thinking of
I
it.
guess.
No, I'm
but-
just thinking like
Do you?
Ariana, like the Everness films, making TikToks, you know, like in her person.
I'm just like doing the TikTok
So you-
dances. Like
Oh, so
renegade.
so you just admitted that you do those kind of like.
Okay, I don't. Okay, I follow.
Okay.
I'm just not gonna get into it anymore.
We're gonna
This
disclose this. We're gonna do
this
it
is out of the
professionally.
scope.
Just so we know, we do know that Everness has personal TikTok, and you know, she might show. You may not never find it, but it's out there.
It's out there. Yeah, I guess just never look me up.
Okay.
But I do have a business TikTok that I post on, but I have never, I don't have like any popularity on there. It's a very different way of building popularity on TikTok versus Instagram. Like Instagram, you're like interacting with people and like commenting, and that's sort of how you grow your account. On TikTok, it's more of like you kind of get viral based on like if you have like an interesting video, and then you like build a following from
I feel like it's gonna
So
take a while for us to. I
yeah.
feel like from what I've heard in like the Facebook group How to Film Weddings, like some videographers were able to get like, you know, inquiries from TikTok, but I just don't see that happening anytime soon. Maybe in the, you know, far future, if everyone still continue to use TikTok. So
Yeah. That's the thing. I think it also depends on the demographic you have. I feel like TikTok generally has like a younger. I don't know. But like generally, it is like a younger demographic, so it might be harder to
you're
show
saying
up on
a younger
people's
generation.
For You
You know,
pages.
I feel like I'm too old for TikTok, but I'm still using it. I mean, I've made a couple of TikToks, but like I feel like eventually, like everyone's adapting. Like even the older generation, I guess, are using TikTok. It's, you know, everyone's using TikTok now, but.
It's true. It's like how
Right.
how old people took over Facebook. Like that's what we're doing for TikTok. It's so weird though. They call 22-year-olds old on TikTok, and I witness
No.
it. I'm like,
Oh my
22-year-olds
God.
are not
But,
old.
Yeah, so I didn't want to spend more, like, waste your time, but I'm glad I was able to talk with you and got to, you know a little background about yourself. I didn't know you did TikTok, but that's so yeah, I know, but like
Disregard
being able
that.
to
That
see
doesn't
your
count.
business grow, and you just started out last year. It's incredible. Like especially the brand that you're putting out there, and especially the style is like the editing that you do in your videos. Like that's so great because like I feel like you kind of like succeeded so quick. That's why you mentioned like you don't want to like, you know, go like quick on it. Like you said you want to take less weddings, but you know. I'm surprised that you don't want to take a lot of weddings just because, like, you know, if I started a business myself and then, you know, I'm seeing the success on it, I would take as much weddings that I could because it's my first time and just starting out. But for yourself, it's like you're taking in less weddings and, you know, like, I don't know, like, I feel like, and you mentioned, like, you don't want to get burnt out as well. You're actually, you know, aware of that. I feel like that's a smart way of thinking. For myself, I'm like, I'm just gonna get like 40 weddings. I'm just gonna go, you know, along with it and then see what happens. And I feel like that's a smart way for you to do, where you're aware of like what you're doing. You know, just being, you know, taking care of yourself as well.
Yeah, I got a lot of like knowledge from you were talking about how to film weddings, and I listened to their podcast like I probably listened to. I stopped listening like recently because I don't know, I just needed to like absorb all of the information I had previously listened to, but I'd probably listen to every episode like up to March-ish, and I really they mentioned like burnout and stuff, and I took that to heart, and I really I know that like I can't be creative under stress, so I just can't like put myself into stressful
that's so
positions
true,
where
and I
won't
feel
be
like
able
that's
to
what
produce what I want
I
to
got
produce.
take away from this conversation, because like, you know, I'm going on with this wedding for next year. Who knows, it might be 40 weddings just because of the postponements, because I originally booked 40 weddings from last year. You know, I'm just, you know, I'm more aware of like, if I go, like, I have to be considerate about myself. Like, should I take this wedding, like this much wedding, and then burn myself out and not be able to produce? So that's really something that I really have to consider in the future, you know, weddings that I have, because I could be doing less wedding and charge more than, you know, charging, you know, 2K per wedding. You know, I feel like that's low budget here in America. I think so. Like, and you mentioned like there is kind of like, you know, in the 3K range for what you're offering, but it really depends where you are.
Yeah, I mean, like I start at 4K, and then usually I book around like 4,600, but you do have to keep in mind our conversion rate is like 2K in the States is probably
Really?
like
Okay. So
2,600, 2,500.
So you're saying like
Canadian?
4K Canadian is kind of it's like comparable to like 3K in the US? Oh, is it the opposite way?
No, yeah, 4K Canadian. So our dollar is worth less. So yeah, 4K would maybe be like 3.5, like 3K.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know the exact conversion, but I know our dollar's worth
I'm
a little
recording
bit
this
less.
video, and I don't think anyone, like, not a lot of people are watching. I'm still starting out my podcast, and then it's just gonna grow. But like, I feel like it's a great way to look back on your, you know, your old self, and then see where you were before, and then, you know, looking back at it in the future. You know, I feel like you can see this video. Do you mind if I post this on YouTube?
Yeah, please post it on YouTube, and you can like use my name so couples can learn about how I use TikTok.
To see, you know, everyone grow, and I feel like you know, maybe in a few years from now on, Ariana, you might be like one of the biggest wedding videographer in Canada, and be so honored. You know, I had Everness Films in my podcast when I was just starting out.
Oh my God! I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but
That's
I mean
the goal. And
that'd
also,
be nice.
you know,
I'm not
you can
opposed
see yourself,
to the idea.
talking about how you have TikTok. No, it's not a bad thing. Just don't get me wrong. It's not a bad thing. Trust, everyone uses TikTok. From where I am, like my family, like even my mom uses TikTok, and like my friends, you know, my friend group and couples, you know, they all use TikTok. It's pretty much common here. Not to make you feel bad at all, not at all, because I use it too.
Yeah. Yeah, I use it a little bit too much. I had to start setting restrictions on my phone for social media in general, because I just, especially during quarantine.
Yeah, man, it's the
hours
the
of
way they
scrolling.
show these videos in the timeline. You kind of just want to scroll through. It's kind of crazy, you know. It's never ending.
Oh, I know. I could talk for hours about their algorithm.
Yeah,
but
anyways,
we should probably
thank you so
not
much
do
for
that
your
on the
time. I
wedding
really had
podcast.
fun talking with you, and also being able to know more about you behind the scene. And I feel like you did mention like you feel bad, like, you know, don't feel bad, because you know, I love being able to learn about the other creatives' story. You know, I feel like I have nothing excitement in my story, but being able to hear your like other creatives,
No, that's
being
not
able
true.
to, you know, hear
Your story is
you know,
so
someone a creative that's not from here, or like a different, you know, different state and a different background. I feel like such a cool way to, you know, learn, and also like hear hear where you started. I didn't even know you started with a VH. Like you've been doing videography from what like when you were younger already. So that's pretty cool. But
Yeah.
No way.
I was using Final Cut Pro
no way.
at the age of
Oh my god.
at the age
so
of
you've
9.
been doing videography for your entire life, which is pretty cool. I'm glad that you were able to being able to get that back and then actually use that for yourself and then being able to financially support yourself as well. Anyways.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, that's so sweet.
Oh,
It feels so weird to talk
thank
about
you
myself
for sharing,
so
being
long.
able
But
to
I thank
be
you
in the
for
podcast, 'cause
listening.
I really appreciate it. I'm still starting out and it's just gonna grow from here. So,
Yeah, heck yeah, it's gonna grow. I'm gonna
Thank you
post
so
it
much.
on my Instagram.
I really appreciate
Hopefully
it.
you'll get
If
a
you
few
can
new
send
followers.
me anytime you have, and you mentioned some of the footage where you weren't recording at all, that's completely fine. I can just yeah.
I'll just send the audio. Yeah, I think I'm gonna put it together. Like I'll sync the audio with the camera, and I'll do a quick color grade on the camera.
No, it's completely fine.
So
I
I'm
don't
not
want it to
giving
be
you like
more,
a raw file, and then
more
I'll
work
send it
for
over.
you. I usually just get your audio as well and kind of just go back and forth. So if you wanna just send the audio as well, separate with the video file, feel free to send that to me, and then I could just edit those. It was nice meeting you. Such a great thing being able to talk
sounds
to you.
good.
So we'll keep in touch. Ariana, right? Ariana, all right. Andre.
Yeah, let's keep in touch.
All right.
Yeah, all right, and then yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I knew your name, but I forgot for a second.